Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation?
And so many people on this planet are going to die with regret because they're terrified of the transformation. Because when you look at the understanding that where you're at now doesn't have to be where you are, but you have to get new tools that you actually use to get to where you want to go, then you have to close a gap. And when you're closing that gap, you're learning, you're growing. You're not only learning and growing externally, but, and more importantly, internally. You're learning to love yourself. You're learning to show up in your boundaries, your wants, your needs, your interests. You look at those tools that you've gathered over the years, all the conferences, all the personal development, all the YouTube, all the self-education, all the books. And then you realize if you want to be the person that you're destined to be, you have to build yourself. You have to create yourself. When I wrote Think Unbroken, one of the parts of the book starts with create you, because that's how this works. If you want change in your life, you want transformation in your life, you want healing in your life, you want to live into the potential of those dreams that you have at night that you think about all of the time where you're like, oh my God, what if? You can have it, but you have to make a decision. You have to take an action. You have to show up for yourself. And most importantly, you have to be willing to do it with other people. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they think to themselves, I will figure this out on my own. Well, let me tell you this, after 6,400 hours of coaching, personal development, therapy, groups, anonymous groups, and over $250,000 invested in myself, literally my life savings, to the point where I sold shit that I owned just to go to therapy, where I borrowed money to pay for rent so I could go to coaching. Let me tell you this. When you make those decisions to show up for yourself and not make excuses, everything about your life can be different. But my friend, change only happens when you make change happen. And ain't nobody coming to save you. Nobody's coming to give you that dream that you have of being the person who is healed, who doesn't carry shame, who doesn't carry guilt, who loves themselves, who can look in the mirror and be okay with the reflection. The only person who's going to give that to you is you. And the only way you're going to give that to yourself is by making a decision and by choosing to show up for yourself. And these are just a small portion of the ideals, the tools, the actual executable actions that you are going to learn during the Think Unbroken conference. It's totally free to watch live. And so if you have not signed up yet, go to unbrokencon.com to join us this November. Just today, I got confirmation from one of the leading trauma experts on freaking planet Earth that they're going to come and be a part of this and help us. Because ultimately, we're all in this together. And so if you can watch live, it's totally free. Go to unbrokencon.com and make a decision. Because you see, change, again, only happens when you make change happen. Doesn't do you any good to watch this, to listen to the podcast, to get on the YouTube, if you aren't going to do anything with it, because you're just wasting your time. Don't even sign up for the conference if you ain't going to show up and do something about your life, because you're taking a spot from somebody else who wants to be there. But my hope is that you'll show up, that you'll be there, that you'll live into your authentic self. You'll come with vulnerability and you'll leave with courage and strength and transform your trauma into triumph. My friends, let me tell you this. I'm simply one of you. I have been there. I've been at rock bottom. I've seen the worst of myself. I've seen the worst of humanity. I've done things that I don't even want to get into right now because there's not enough time, and I might go to prison because I don't know if the statutes of limitations have been raised. But the one thing that I do know is that life is very different from where it started. From being that hurt, lost little boy, from being abused, from being abandoned, from being an orphan, from not graduating high school to being 350 pounds overweight and smoking 2 packs a day and being $50,000 in debt and putting a gun in my mouth. Life is very different because I made a decision. And I'm not sitting here preaching from the pulpit. talking down to you. I'm standing across from you, talking to you as my friend, as my peer, as my brothers and my sisters, and letting you know the fucking truth that you can have the life that you want to have, but only you can give you that life.